Hey everyone. Tonight, I'm standing on my front porch, the air thick with the stench of freshly cut grass and betrayal. My heart hammering as red and blue police lights pulse across the street. My neighbor Karen is screaming at the top of her lungs, her voice like a banshee tearing through the quiet cul-de-sac, accusing me of something I didn't do. Her words from earlier today still burn in my ears. "You're just bitter because you're alone." I ignored her then, but now, with her husband's creepy Instagram messages glowing on my phone, I'm done playing nice. You probably wouldn't last a week living next to someone like this. So, before you settle in, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you actually want more raw stories like this. Drop a comment below. Where are you listening from? And have you ever had a nightmare neighbor? Now take a deep breath, because here's everything you never knew about the war. I survived on my own front lawn. It started 3 months ago when I moved into this cookie-cutter suburban neighborhood, chasing a fresh start after a brutal divorce. The house was perfect white picket fence, creaky porch, swing the works. But the second I pulled into the driveway, Karen was there, arms crossed, her bleach blonde bob gleaming under the sun like a warning sign. She didn't introduce herself, didn't wave. She just stared, her eyes narrowing as my movers hauled in my boxes. I brushed it off, chalked it up to new neighbor nerves. Big mistake. The first week, her dog, a yappy little terrier, kept crapping on my lawn. I'd find piles every morning steaming in the dew. I knocked on her door, all smiles, holding a Tupperware of homemade cookies as a peace offering. "Hey, I'm your new neighbor," I said, extending the container. "I noticed your dog's been leaving gifts on my grass. Maybe we could work out a cleanup routine." Her lips curled into a smirk. "My dog must be someone else's. And keep your cookies. I don't eat carbs." She slammed the door in my face. The cookies sat on my counter for days, untouched, a reminder of her venom. Things escalated fast. By week 2, she was blasting music at 2 a.m., some god-awful pop playlist that rattled my windows. I'd lie in bed staring at the ceiling, my blood pressure spiking with every beat. I tried earplugs, white noise, even meditation apps. Nothing worked. One night, I snapped. I marched across the lawn in my pajamas, the grass wet against my bare feet, and pounded on her door. She answered, wine glass in hand, her eyes glassy but sharp. "What's your problem?" she slurred. "Your music," I said, voice shaking. "It's keeping me awake." That's when she leaned in, her breath sour, and hissed, "You're just bitter because you're alone." I froze. The words hit like a slap, digging into the raw wound of my divorce. I wanted to scream to tell her she didn't know me, but my throat locked up. I turned and walked away, her laughter chasing me back to my house. That moment was the spark. I wasn't going to let her walk all over me, but I didn't expect what came next. The next morning, I woke to a notification on my phone, an Instagram DM from an account I didn't recognize, at BigMike88. "Hey, saw you out last night," it read. "You looked stressed. Wanna talk?" My stomach churned. Big Mike was Karen's husband, a burly guy I'd seen mowing their lawn, always avoiding eye contact. Why was he messaging me? I scrolled his profile, gym selfies, beer cans, and a wedding photo with Karen, her smile as fake as her tan. I didn't respond, but the message sat there, a ticking bomb. That afternoon, Karen upped the ante. I came home from work to find my mailbox overflowing with flyers, dozens of them, all for weight loss programs and singles dating events. A Post-it note was taped to the top. "Thought you might need these. K." My face burned. This wasn't just petty. It was personal. I ripped the flyers to shreds, my hands shaking. And that's when I made my decision. I wasn't going to be her punching bag. I'd fight back smarter, not louder. I started small. I knew her type, image-obsessed, desperate for control. So I joined the neighborhood's private Facebook group and posted a cheery message. New here. Anyone have tips for keeping lawns clean? Struggling with some mystery dog poop. I didn't name her, but the comments flooded in. People venting about her dog, her noise, her attitude. Karen replied within minutes, all caps, "This is slander. You'll regret this." The group admin deleted her comment, but the damage was done. The neighborhood was watching. That night, I sat on my couch, the house dark except for the glow of my laptop. I pulled up the HOA bylaws, every rule and regulation, searching for anything I could use. Karen thought she could bully me into submission, but she'd underestimated me. Her husband's message still lingered in my mind, a wild card I didn't know how to play yet. But one thing was clear, this was war, and I was ready to fight dirty. The climax came 2 days later. I was watering my plants when Karen stormed across her lawn, her face red, clutching her phone. "You think you're clever, huh?" she shouted. "Posting about my dog? I'll have you fined by the HOA. I didn't flinch. "Go ahead," I said, my voice steady. "But I've got photos of your dog on my lawn, and I know about your husband's messages." Her eyes widened just for a second before she recovered. "You're pathetic," she spat, but her voice cracked. She turned and fled, and I knew I'd landed the first real blow. That moment changed everything. I wasn't the scared, lonely woman she'd pegged me for. I was angry, awake, and ready to take her down. Little did I know her husband's messages were just the beginning of the chaos she'd bring. The air in my house feels heavier tonight, like the walls are holding their breath. I'm sprawled on my couch, the glow of my phone casting shadows across the living room. Karen's vicious words, "You're just bitter because you're alone," still looping in my head. But it's her husband's Instagram message from @BigMike88 that's got my pulse racing. "Wanna talk?" It taunts, sitting unanswered in my DMs. I should block him, report him something, but I don't. Instead, I'm staring at the screen, my thumb hovering, because this feels like a crack in their perfect toxic armor. And I'm just angry enough to pry it open. It's been 3 days since our front lawn showdown, where I called her out on her dog and hinted I knew about Mike's message. Karen's been quiet since no late-night music, no snide notes in my mailbox. But I'm not fooled. She's a snake coiled and waiting. I've spent every evening since then digging through the HOA bylaws, my laptop balanced on a TV tray, coffee going cold. I'm looking for anything to hit her where it hurts her reputation, her control. But tonight, Mike's message is the wild card I can't ignore. I scroll back to his DM. The timestamp says 1:17 a.m., sent the night I confronted Karen about her music. His profile is a mess of bravado, shirtless Jim Muir. Shots a pickup truck, a bio that reads, "Livin' large, lovin' life." But there's something desperate in his message, something that doesn't match the meathead vibe. I click on his stories. There's a new one from an hour ago, him at a bar clinking beers with some buddies, but his eyes are glassy, his smile forced. I pause, my gut twisting. What kind of man messages his wife's enemy in the middle of the night? And what kind of marriage are they hiding behind that manicured lawn? I'm about to set the phone down when another message pings. It's him again. "You up? Karen's driving me nuts." My breath catches. This isn't just creepy, it's reckless. I screenshot it, my hands trembling because this is ammunition. But I don't reply. Not yet. I need to understand what I'm dealing with. I pace the living room, the hardwood creaking under my socks, the silence of the house amplifying every thought. Outside, the street is dark, but I can see their house through my blind's lights on curtains twitching. Are they fighting? Is he typing more? My mind races, and I realize this isn't just about Karen anymore. Mike's in play, and that changes everything. The next morning, I'm bleary-eyed, but wired sipping coffee on my porch when Karen's garage door rumbles open. She steps out all yoga pants and sunglasses, but her face is tight like she hasn't slept. Mike follows, lugging a trash can, his shoulders slumped. They don't look at each other. I duck behind my planter, my heart pounding because I don't want her to see me not after last night's DMs. She peels out in her SUV and Mike lingers glancing at my house. For a second, I think he's going to walk over, but he just shakes his head and goes inside. The tension is suffocating, and I know I'm not imagining it. I spend the day distracted replaying Mike's messages, wondering how deep their cracks run. At work, I'm useless, my cubicle a blur of spreadsheets and unanswered emails. By evening, I'm back on the neighborhood Facebook group where Karen's been suspiciously active posting about a community cleanup she's organizing. The comments are all praise heart emojis. "You're amazing, Karen, but I know it's a performance." She's trying to repaint herself as the neighborhood saint after my dog poop post stirred things up. I grit my teeth, tempted to call her out again, but I hold back. I've got something better now. That night, another DM from Mike arrives, this one at 11:43 p.m. "She's out of control," it reads. "You get it right. You've seen her." My skin crawls, but my anger flares hotter. He's not just crossing a line, he's handing me a weapon. I still don't reply, but I screenshot again, my mind spinning with possibilities. Is he trying to sabotage her, or is this some twisted game they're both playing? I need to know, so I do something risky. I follow him back on Instagram, my finger hesitating before hitting the button. Within minutes, he views my story, a boring photo of my coffee mug from this morning. The power shift is subtle, but I feel it. He's watching me now, just like I'm watching them. The conflict explodes the next afternoon. I'm in my backyard raking leaves when Karen's voice cuts through the air. "You think you're so smart, don't you?" She's leaning over the fence, her face twisted with rage. I freeze the rake heavy in my hands. "What are you talking about?" I say, but my voice wavers. She holds up her phone, a screenshot of my Instagram profile glowing on the screen. "Mike told me you followed him." "What's your game, huh? Trying to mess with my marriage?" My stomach drops. I didn't expect her to know, not this fast. But I see the fear in her eyes, the cracks in her armor, and I seize the moment. "I didn't message him, Karen," I say, stepping closer to the fence, my voice low and steady. "He messaged me. Want to see?" Her face pales, and for the first time, she's speechless. I pull out my phone, open the screenshots, and hold them up. She stares, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. "You're lying," she whispers, but there's no conviction in it. "Ask him," I say, and I walk away, leaving her standing there, the rake forgotten in the grass. That moment is electric. I'm shaking as I get inside, but it's not fear. It's power. I've exposed their toxic dynamic, and Karen knows it. Mike's messages aren't just a betrayal. They're proof she's not as untouchable as she thinks. But as I sink onto the couch, my phone buzzing with another DM from Mike. "What did you tell her?" I realize I've lit a fuse. This war is about to get uglier, and I'm not sure I'm ready for the blowback. But there's no going back now. The morning sun burns through my kitchen window, glinting off the coffee mug I'm clutching like a lifeline. My phone sits on the counter silent since Mike's last DM. "What did you tell her?" went unanswered. Karen's stunned silence at the fence yesterday when I showed her his messages replays in my mind. But I know better than to think she's down for the count. She's plotting, and I'm braced for impact. What I don't expect is the certified letter that arrives at noon, its HOA logo staring up at me like a death warrant. Karen's sicked the Homeowners Association on me, but she's about to learn I've been studying their rule book like it's my Bible. I rip open the envelope, my hands unsteady. The letter is formal, typed on crisp letterhead, accusing me of violating Section 4.2, no unsightly lawn decorations. It references a complaint from a concerned neighbor about my porch planter, a terracotta pot with wilting geraniums, hardly a crime. The fine is $100 unless I remove it within 48 hours. I laugh. But it's bitter, because I know this is Karen's doing. She's weaponizing the HOA to grind me down, to make me feel small. I pace the kitchen, the linoleum cool under my bare feet, rage bubbling in my chest. She thinks I'll roll over, pay the fine, and hide. She's wrong. I grab my laptop and open the HOA bylaws, the same ones I've been combing through since her dog poop stunt. I've read every line, highlighted every loophole. Karen's not the only one who can play dirty. I find Section 7.1, all exterior modifications, including fencing, must be pre-approved. My eyes narrow. Her backyard fence, the one she leans over to taunt me, went up last month, no approval posted. I'd bet my house she skipped the paperwork. This is my shot. I spend the afternoon gathering evidence. I snap photos of her fence from my yard, the cheap cedar planks already warping. I dig through the HOA's online portal where approved projects are logged. Nothing for her address. My heart races as I type an email to the HOA board. All polite outrage, I've noticed an unapproved fence at 123 Maple Drive. Can you confirm compliance? I attach the photos and hit send, my pulse pounding. It's a gamble. If they ignore me, I'm out of moves. But if they bite, Karen's in for a rude awakening. That evening, I'm on my porch, pretending to water my unsightly planter, when Karen's SUV screeches into her driveway. She storms out, a manila folder in hand, and marches straight for me. "You think you're cute, huh?" She snaps, her voice loud enough to turn heads across the street. "Reporting my fence. I've got the HOA eating out of my hand." She waves the folder, her nails blood red, her eyes wild. "I filed 3 more complaints about you. Your mailbox is faded, your grass is too long, and your car's parked too close to the curb. You're done." I don't flinch, even though my stomach knots. "Funny," I say, setting down the watering can, my voice ice cold. I checked the bylaws. "Your fence is illegal. How much is that fine, 500? Her smirk falters just for a second, and I know I've hit a nerve. She steps closer, her perfume choking me, and hisses, "You'll regret this." But there's a tremor in her voice, and I see it, the first real crack in her confidence. The next morning, I wake to an email from the HOA. My complaint's been received, and they're investigating Karen's fence. No mention of her new complaints against me, which tells me she's bluffing, at least for now. I'm buzzing with adrenaline, but I need to keep the pressure on. I head to the hardware store, the smell of sawdust and metal grounding me as I buy a small sign, "Property under HOA compliance." It's petty, but I plant it in my front yard right where Karen can see it. Let her sweat. The conflict peaks that afternoon. I'm in my living room, blinds cracked, when an HOA inspector's truck pulls up at Karen's house. She answers the door, all smiles, but I can see her gesturing wildly as the inspector examines her fence. I sip my coffee, my heart hammering, because this is it. My move is paying off. The inspector takes photos, shakes his head, and hands her a clipboard. Her face crumples as she signs something, and I know I've won this round. But the blowback comes fast. That night, my doorbell rings at 10 p.m. I peer through the peephole. Karen alone, her hair disheveled. I open the door, one hand on my phone ready to record. "You think you're smart?" She slurs her breath, reeking of wine. "I'll bury you." Mike's on my side, and we've got money lawyers, everything. I don't blink. "Then why is he messaging me, Karen?" I say, and her eyes widen, betrayal flashing across her face. I shut the door, my hands shaking, but I'm not scared anymore. I'm in control. This moment changes me. I'm not just surviving Karen's attacks, I'm outmaneuvering her. The HOA is on her tail now, and Mike's messages are a ticking bomb she can't defuse. But as I lie in bed, the house creaking around me, I know she's not done. She's cornered, and that makes her dangerous. I've turned her own rules against her, but the war's far from over. Remember when she threw her weight around with that first HOA letter? That was nothing compared to what's coming next. The night is thick with humidity, the kind that clings to your skin and makes every breath feel heavy. I'm wide awake, sitting in my darkened living room. the only light coming from the street lamp outside, slicing through my blinds. Karen's HOA defeat yesterday, her face crumpling as the inspector handed her that clipboard, should feel like a victory. But my gut tells me she's not licking her wounds. She's planning something worse, and when I step outside at midnight to take out the trash, I find at my front door splattered with bright red paint the word bitch scrawled across it in dripping letters. Karen's crossed a line, and I'm done playing defense. It's time to hit back, and I've got a plan that'll make her regret ever picking up that paint can. I stand frozen on my porch, the trash bag slipping from my hand, the stench of paint fumes burning my nose. My heart hammers rage and fear battling in my chest. This isn't just vandalism. It's personal, a violation of my home, my sanctuary. I snap photos with my phone, the flash illuminating the ugly word, each letter a taunt. I know it's Karen. No one else in this cul-de-sac has her venom, her obsession with breaking me. Mike's DMs. She's out of control echo in my mind, and I wonder if he knows what she's done. But I don't have time to dwell. I need to act. I spend the next hour scrubbing the door, the paint thinner, stinging my hands. The word fading, but not my anger. By 2 a.m., I'm back inside, pacing, my mind racing. Karen thinks she can scare me, humiliate me, but she's underestimated how far I'll go. I've been studying her patterns, her late-night wine binges, her loud fights with Mike that spill into their backyard. She's sloppy when she's angry, and I'm going to use that against her. But first, I need to protect myself. I order a cheap security camera online rush delivery because I'm not letting her catch me off guard again. The next day, I'm a wreck at work. My eyes gritty from no sleep, my cubicle a blur of emails I can't focus on. Every time I close my eyes, I see that red paint, hear her voice calling me bitter alone. But I'm not alone anymore. I've got the neighborhood Facebook group, the HOA, and Mike's messages in my arsenal. By evening, I'm back home, checking the bylaws again, looking for anything to amplify my retaliation. That's when I notice her car parked in her driveway, a shiny new SUV with a custom license plate, Karen 1. It's her pride and joy, always waxed, always parked just so. An idea sparks wicked and perfect. I wait until midnight, the street silent except for the hum of crickets. Dressed in black, I slip into my backyard, my heart pounding, but my hands steady. I've got a bag of glitter, biodegradable, because I'm not a monster, and a small fan I borrowed from work. Karen's SUV is parked close to our shared fence, and I know from her Facebook posts she's got a big neighborhood cleanup event tomorrow where she'll play the saint again. I climb onto a patio chair, lean over the fence, and aim the fan. The glitter pours out a shimmering cloud that coats her car's hood, windshield, everything. It's not permanent, but it's a nightmare to clean, and it'll make her look like a fool when she rolls up to her event sparkling like a disco ball. The conflict erupts the next morning. I'm sipping coffee on my porch, my HOA compliant sign still planted in my yard, when Karen's scream pierces the air. She's in her driveway, hands on her hips, staring at her glitter-bombed SUV. "Who did this?" she shrieks, her voice cracking. Neighbors peek out their windows, and I keep my face neutral, but inside, I'm electric. She spots me and storms over her yoga pants, dusted with glitter, her face red. "You did this, didn't you?" she accuses, pointing a trembling finger. I shrug, calm as ice. "Prove it, Karen. Maybe it's karma for your door painting hobby." Her eyes widen. She knows I know, but she can't say it, not with half the street watching. She spins and stomps back to her house, yelling for Mike, who stumbles out looking hungover. "Fix this!" she snaps, and he just nods, avoiding my gaze. I've won this round, but the blowback is immediate. By noon, a new HOA complaint lands in my mailbox, something about my non-compliant porch light. It's weak, desperate, and I know she's scrambling, but I also know she's not done. She's too unhinged to quit. That night, my security camera arrives, and I spend hours setting it up, angling it to catch my front door. and part of her yard. It's a small victory, but it shifts something in me. I'm not just reacting anymore. I'm anticipating, planning, controlling the game. Karen's vandalism was her mistake, a tantrum that exposed her desperation. My glitter stunt was a warning I can play dirty too, and I'm better at it. As I lie in bed, the house creaking, I think about her screaming over that glitter, and I smile. But I also know this war's escalating, and I need to stay sharp. Remember when she threw dog poop over the fence? That was nothing compared to what she's about to pull next. The morning air is crisp, but it carries a faint rancid smell that hits me as I step onto my back patio with my coffee. My security camera's up its little red light blinking reassuringly. But it's not enough to shake the unease from Karen's latest HOA complaint about my porch light. A desperate jab after my glitter stunt left her SUV sparkling like a cheap parade float. I'm sipping my coffee, replaying her driveway meltdown, when I see it, a pile of dog poop smeared across my side of the fence, right where I'd leaned to douse her car in glitter. It's fresh, deliberate, and I know it's Karen. Her yappy terrier's been her weapon since day one. But this time she's gone too far, and I'm about to turn her disgusting stunt into her public undoing. I gag the coffee turning sour in my mouth and grab my phone to snap photos. The poop is streaked across the cedar planks, a grotesque message from a woman unhinged. My blood boils, but I'm not the same person who froze when she called me bitter and alone. I've got the HOA on her tail, Mike's DMs in my pocket, and now this, a mistake so blatant it's practically a gift. I scrub my hands raw after setting up a second camera, this one angled at the fence, because I'm not just documenting, I'm building a case. I head inside my laptop open on the kitchen table and log into the neighborhood Facebook group. Karen's been posting nonstop about her community cleanup fishing for praise, but the comments are thinning her shine, fading since my dog poop post weeks ago. I craft a new post, careful but cutting. Anyone else dealing with repeat pet waste issues found this on my fence today. HOA, any rules on this? I upload the photos, blurred just enough to stay civil, and hit post. My heart races. I know this will ignite a firestorm, but I'm ready. By noon, the post explodes. Neighbors comment furiously. That's disgusting. Same thing happened to me last month. Isn't that Karen's dog? I stay silent, letting the group do the work. Karen responds within an hour, her comment a manic wall of text. This is a lie. My dog is always leashed. You're targeting me, but the group's not buying it. Someone posts a photo of her terrier running loose last week, and the pile-on begins. I sip my coffee, my hands trembling with adrenaline because this is better than I'd hoped. The conflict erupts that afternoon. I'm in my backyard checking the new camera when Karen's voice shrieks over the fence. "You little snake!" she screams, her face appearing above the planks, red and blotchy. "You posted that to humiliate me." I stand my ground. The grass damp under my sneakers and meet her gaze. I posted the truth, Karen. Your dog, your mess. She grips the fence, her knuckles white, and I see the panic in her eyes. She knows she's losing the neighborhood. "You'll pay for this," she spits, but her voice cracks and she ducks out of sight. I expect blowback, and it comes fast. By evening, my inbox pings with a new HOA complaint, this one claiming my cameras violate privacy standards. It's flimsy, and I know it's Karen grasping at straws, but it's a reminder she's still dangerous. I'm about to call it a night when my phone buzzes a DM from Mike. "She's losing it," he writes. "That post was brutal. Respect." My stomach twists. His messages are a minefield, but they're also proof of the cracks in their marriage widening with every move I make. The climactic action comes the next morning. I'm woken at 7 a.m. by pounding on my door. It's not Karen, it's Linda, the HOA president, a no-nonsense woman in a blazer. "We got your post," she says, her voice clipped. "And Karen's complaint about your cameras. I'm here to settle this." My heart sinks, but I invite her in my kitchen, still smelling of last night's takeout. I show her the camera footage clear as day, Karen's terrier squatting by my fence, her silhouette in the background holding the leash slack. Linda's jaw tightens. "This ends now," she says, and marches next door. I watch from my window, my pulse racing, as Linda confronts Karen on her lawn. Karen's gesturing wildly, her voice carrying, but Linda's unmoved. She hands Karen a citation, 200 for pet waste violations per the bylaws I'd memorized. Karen's scream is primal, and I catch Mike in the doorway, watching his face unreadable. The neighborhood's out now, drawn by the noise, and I know this moment's spreading like wildfire. This changes everything. I'm not just fighting Karen. I'm dismantling her facade. The Facebook group's buzzing her cleanup events canceled, and Linda's promised to monitor her compliance. But as I sit on my couch, the house quiet except for the hum of my fridge, I feel the weight of what's coming. Karen's not just angry, she's desperate, and desperate people do reckless things. Mike's DMs are a wild card, and I'm not sure how to play them yet. I've exposed her publicly, and it feels like victory, but I know this war's not over. Remember when she painted my door? That was nothing compared to the humiliation she's about to unleash. The summer air buzzes with the scent of grilled burgers and sunscreen, the cul-de-sac alive with laughter and clinking glasses at the annual block party. I'm standing on the edge of the crowd, a plastic cup of lemonade sweating in my hand, still reeling from Karen's dog poop disaster and the HOA citation that left her screaming on her lawn. My cameras are rolling. My Facebook post has her on the ropes and Mike's DMs. That post was brutal. Respect sit unanswered, a dangerous ace up my sleeve. But tonight, under the string lights and pop music, Karen's back in her element, charming neighbors like nothing happened. I should have known she'd use this party to strike back, and when she does, her betrayal cuts deep, but it lights a fire that fuels my boldest move yet. I didn't want to come. After weeks of her attacks, dog poop, red paint, HOA complaints, my nerves are shot. But the neighborhood's watching, and staying home would look like surrender. So I'm here in a sundress and fake smile, nodding, as Linda, the HOA president, chats about landscaping rules. My eyes keep drifting to Karen, who's holding court by the dessert table, her laugh sharp as glass. She's in a white linen dress, her hair perfect, but I catch the strain in her smile, the way her eyes flick to me. She's not over the citation, not over the Facebook group turning on her. Good. The party's in full swing when the conflict ignites. I'm grabbing a burger from the grill, the sizzle of meat filling the air, when Karen's voice cuts through the chatter. "Oh, look, it's our resident spy," she calls, loud enough to hush the crowd. Heads turn, and I freeze, ketchup dripping onto my plate. She's pointing at me, a wine glass in her other hand, her face lit with mock pity. "Tell us, how many cameras do you have now? Filming us all for your little vendetta." Laughter ripples, some nervous, some cruel. My face burns, the old wound of her bitter and alone taunt splitting open. She's painting me as the neighborhood lunatic, and it's working. I open my mouth to fire back, but she's not done. "Poor thing," she says, stepping closer, her perfume choking me. "No friends? No family, just you and your sad little war against me? Maybe if you weren't so obsessed, you'd have a life." The crowd shifts, some looking away, others whispering. I spot Mike by the cooler. His jaw tight, but he doesn't move. My chest tightens, humiliation, rage, betrayal crashing together. This isn't just an attack. It's a public execution, and she's banking on me crumbling. I don't. Instead, I set my plate down, my hands steady, despite the tremor in my gut, and step toward her. "Obsessed," I say, my voice loud clear. Says the woman who paints doors and smears dog poop on fences. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Karen's smile falters, but I'm not stopping. "You want to talk about sad? How's that 200 fine treating you?" Her eyes widen, and I see it, the fear of losing control. The neighbors are staring, murmuring, and I know I've landed a hit. But it's not enough. She's humiliated me in front of everyone, and I need to hit harder. The blowback comes fast. Karen recovers her laugh shrill. "You're delusional," she snaps, but her voice shakes. She turns to the crowd playing victim. "She's been harassing me for months. Ask my husband." All eyes shift to Mike, who's gripping a beer. His face pale. He mutters something about misunderstandings, but it's weak, and Karen's glare could cut steel. The tension's electric, and I realize Mike's silence is another crack in their facade. I could push it, mention his DMs, but I hold back. Not yet. That night, I'm back home, the party's music still faintly audible, my blood still boiling. I pace my living room, the hardwood creaking, replaying Karen's words, the crowd's laughter. But I'm not broken. I'm furious, and I'm done playing small. I grab my laptop and log into the Facebook group, my fingers flying as I craft a post. Had an interesting block party tonight. Anyone else tired of the drama from 123 Maple Drive? Maybe it's time for transparency. I attach a screenshot not of Mike's DMs, but of the HOA citation notice publicly available on the portal, with Karen's name redacted, but her address clear. I hit post, my heart pounding, knowing this will spread like wildfire. The climactic action unfolds the next morning. My phone's blowing up with notifications, neighbors tagging each other, some defending. Karen others, piling on. This explains the yelling, her dog's a menace. Karen's response is a deleted rant, but not before screenshots circulate. By noon, I get a text from Linda HOAs, holding an emergency meeting tomorrow. Be there. My stomach flips. This is bigger than I planned. I check my cameras, and there's new footage Karen last night tossing an empty wine bottle into my yard, her face twisted with rage. It's petty, but it's evidence, and I save it. This moment shifts everything. Karen's public attack was meant to bury me, but it's backfired. The neighborhood's turning, the HOA's circling, and my post has lit a fuse. I'm not just surviving her betrayal, I'm weaponizing it. But as I sit on my couch, the house dark except for my laptop's glow, I know she's not done. Her humiliation at the party was a desperate swing, and now I've pushed her to the edge. Mike's DMs are still a loaded gun, and I'm starting to see how to use them. Remember when she smeared poop on my fence? That was nothing compared to the chaos she's about to unleash at that HOA meeting. The air in my living room is stale, the faint hum of my fridge cutting through the silence as I sit hunched over my laptop, the glow of the screen burning my eyes. It's been 24 hours since the block party where Karen's vicious taunts resident spy. No friends, no life left me raw. But my Facebook post about her HOA citation flipped the script, sparking an emergency HOA meeting set for tomorrow. My cameras now, my silent allies, caught her tossing a wine bottle into my yard last night, a petty jab after her public humiliation. But tonight, those cameras are about to become my trump card, catching Karen in a reckless act that shifts the power in this war squarely to me. I'm wired, replaying the block party. Karen's wine-soaked smirk, Mike's silence, and the neighbor's whispers. My phone's still buzzing with Facebook notifications, half the cul-de-sacs weighing in on my post. Some calling for Karen to chill, others defending her as misunderstood. I ignore it all, focusing on my security footage. I've got 2 cameras now, one on my porch, one by the fence, and I'm checking the cloud storage, my heart pounding. Karen's desperate, and desperate people make mistakes. I'm betting she's done something stupid, and I'm right. At 2 a.m., I find it, footage from the fence camera time-stamped 1:34 a.m. Karen's in her backyard, her silhouette lit by her porch light, wearing a hoodie and sweatpants. She's holding a spray can, shaking it, and then she leans over the fence, my fence, and sprays something. The camera's angle catches her face, twisted with rage as she paints a single word. Loser. My breath catches rage flaring, but it's drowned by a surge of triumph. This isn't just vandalism, it's proof undeniable, and it's going to bury her. I save the clip, export it to my laptop, and watch it again. The spray paints hiss faint, but clear in the audio. My hands shake not from fear, but from the thrill of having her dead to rights. She painted my door weeks ago, smeared dog poop, but this. This is her, caught red-handed, and I'm not wasting it. I spend the next hour preparing cropping the video to highlight her face, drafting an email to Linda, the HOA president, with the clip attached. I keep it professional. Caught this last night. Please address at tomorrow's meeting. But inside, I'm electric, plotting how to maximize the damage. The conflict erupts the next morning, hours before the HOA meeting. I'm on my porch, scrubbing the fresh paint off the fence. The chemical stink of paint thinner stinging my nose. Karen's SUV pulls into her driveway and she steps out. Her sunglasses hiding her eyes, but her posture's tense. She sees me, freezes, then marches over her heels, clicking on the pavement. "You're pathetic," she hisses, her voice low but venomous. "Think your little cameras scare me? I've got friends on the board. You're the one who's finished." My heart races, but I don't flinch. "Funny," I say, dipping my rag in the thinner, "because my cameras caught you last night." Spray paint's a bold choice. Her face pales, her mouth opening, but no words come. For the first time, she's speechless, and I savor it. She recovers fast, her laugh forced. "You're bluffing," she says, but her eyes dart to my fence where the word loser is half erased. I shrug casual, but my voice is steel. "See you at the meeting, Karen." She storms off, slamming her front door, and I hear her yelling inside Mike's name, sharp and furious. His DMs, she's losing it, flash in my mind, and I wonder if he's starting to crack under her chaos. But I don't have time to dwell. The meeting's in 2 hours and I'm bringing a grenade. The climactic action unfolds at the HOA meeting held in the community center, a stuffy room smelling of coffee and old carpet. 30 neighbors are packed and murmuring, the tension thick as Linda calls the meeting to order. Karen's there front row, her makeup flawless, but her hands fidgeting. I'm in the back, my laptop ready, my pulse hammering. Linda addresses the escalating disputes, mentioning my cameras and Karen's complaints. Karen stands playing victim, her voice quivering. She's harassing me, filming my family, spreading lies online. The room shifts, some nodding, and I feel the old sting of her block party betrayal. I don't hesitate. I raise my hand calm and say I have evidence to share. Linda nods, and I connect my laptop to the projector. The room goes silent as the footage plays, Karen spray can in hand, defacing my fence, her face clear as day. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Karen's on her feet screaming, "That's fake," but her voice cracks, and Linda's glare shuts her up. The room erupts, neighbors shouting, some at Karen, others at me, but Linda bangs her gavel. "Enough," she says. "This is vandalism. Karen, you're fined $500 and we're escalating this to mediation." Karen's face crumples and she bolts from the room, Mike trailing her, his head down. The blowback is immediate. As I pack up, neighbors swarm me, some praising my guts, others whispering, "I've gone too far." My phone pings with a new DM from Mike. "You didn't have to do that." My stomach twists. He's complicit, but he's also trapped. I don't reply, but I know I've rattled their cage. Back home, I check my cameras, half expecting retaliation, but the night's quiet. Too quiet. This moment shifts the power dynamic. Karen's not just exposed, she's cornered, her credibility shredded. My cameras, once her weapon to mock me, are now my sword. But as I lie in bed, the house creaking, I know she's not out of moves. She's wounded, and that makes her lethal. Mike's DMs are a ticking bomb, and the mediation Linda mentioned looms like a storm. Remember when she humiliated me at the block party? That was nothing compared to the legal trap she's about to spring. The morning light filters through my kitchen blinds, casting jagged shadows across the table, where a certified letter sits unopened, its return address screaming Law Offices of Grayson and Associates. My hands tremble as I grip my coffee mug, the bitter taste doing nothing to calm the dread pooling in my gut. Karen's vandalism, caught on my camera, exposed at the HOA meeting, left her fined, and humiliated her scream, echoing as she fled the room. Mike's DM. You didn't have to do that still lingers a reminder of their crumbling facade. But this letter delivered an hour ago feels like a guillotine. Karen's playing her trump card a legal threat, and it's terrifying until I uncover a weak spot that turns her weapon against her. I stare at the envelope, my pulse hammering the paper's crisp edges, taunting me. After weeks of her attacks, dog poop, red paint, block party, betrayal, I thought I'd gained the upper hand. My cameras, my Facebook posts, the HOA's fines, they were supposed to break her. But Karen's not just fighting. She's escalating to a level I didn't expect. I slice the envelope open, the sound sharp in the quiet house, and unfold the letter. It's a cease and desist, accusing me of harassment, defamation, and invasion of privacy for my cameras and social media posts. It demands I remove the cameras, delete my posts, and pay $5,000 in damages or face a lawsuit. My stomach drops, the words blurring as panic claws at me. A lawsuit, I can't afford a lawyer, let alone a judgment. I pace the kitchen, the linoleum cold under my bare feet, replaying every move, her spray painting, loser on my fence, her dog's messes, her block party taunts. I've got evidence, but this letter's polished professional designed to scare me into submission. I sink into a chair, my breath shallow, and for a moment I wonder if she's won. Then I see her name on the letterhead, Karen Thompson, and something clicks. She's not just angry, she's desperate to control the narrative after the HOA meeting exposed her. This is her Hail Mary, and I'm not folding yet. I grab my laptop, my hands steadier now, and start digging. I search Grayson & Associates online, expecting a powerhouse firm, but their website stated their reviews sparse. One Yelp comment catches my eye. Hired for an HOA dispute, overcharged, and dropped the ball. My pulse quickens. This isn't a legal juggernaut. It's a small-time outfit. Then I check the lawyer's name, David Grayson. A quick Google pulls up his LinkedIn, and my jaw drops. He's Karen's cousin, listed as family on her Facebook. This isn't a legal strategy. It's a bluff, a family favor to intimidate me. I've found her weak spot, and it's flimsier than I dared hope. The conflict explodes that afternoon. I'm in my front yard checking my cameras when Karen's SUV screeches to a stop. She storms out, clutching a copy of the letter, her face red. "You got my lawyer's note!" She shouts loud enough for neighbors to peek out. "Take down those cameras or you're done." Her voice is shrill, but there's a tremor, and I see it, fear behind her bravado. I stand tall, the grass tickling my ankles, and cross my arms. "Nice try, Karen," I say, my voice calm but sharp. "Your cousin David's not scaring anyone. That letter's a joke." Her eyes widen, and for a second she's frozen, her bluff called. "You're lying," she sputters, but her hands shake the letter, crumpling in her grip. She steps closer, her perfume overwhelming, and hisses. "You think you're smart? I'll drag you to court, bankrupt you." But her eyes dart to my camera, and I seize the moment. "Go ahead," I say, pointing at the lens. "It's all recorded, your vandalism, your threats, everything. Want to show that to a judge?" Her face drains of color, and she backs off, muttering, "This isn't over." But it's weak, and I know I've rattled her. As she drives away, I catch Mike watching from their porch, his expression dark, and I wonder what he's thinking. His DMs are still a wild card, but I'm starting to see how to play them. The climactic action comes that evening. I'm at my laptop, drafting a response to Grayson's letter. Not to him, but to Linda, the HOA president, copying the entire board. I keep it factual. The letter's a retaliation for my evidence of Karen's vandalism, and I question its legitimacy, noting Grayson's familial tie. I attach the camera footage of Karen's latest threat in my yard, timestamp today. I'm prepared to cooperate with mediation, I write, but I won't be intimidated. I hit send, my heart pounding, knowing this could backfire. But within an hour, Linda replies, We're reviewing this. Stand by. It's not a win, but it's leverage. The blowback hits fast. My phone pings with a new DM from Mike. She's freaking out. You really got under her skin. My stomach twists. He's not my ally, but he's slipping, and Karen's grip on him is weakening. I don't reply, but I save the message, another bullet in my arsenal. Back on the Facebook group, someone posts about legal threats circulating, and neighbors are split. Some call it bullying. Others say I'm stirring drama. It stings, but I'm past caring. I check my cameras, half expecting Karen to retaliate, but her house is dark curtains drawn. This moment shifts everything. Karen's legal threat was meant to crush me, but exposing her cousin's flimsy letter has turned the tables. I'm not just defending myself, I'm dismantling her power piece by piece. But as I lie in bed, the house creaking, I know she's not out of tricks. That letter was a desperate swing, and now she's cornered with Mike's loyalty fraying and the HOA watching. I've got her weak spot, but the war's not over. Remember when she spray painted my fence? That was nothing compared to the public shaming I'm about to unleash. The evening air is heavy with the scent of rain, thunder rumbling in the distance as I sit on my couch, my laptop open, the glow casting shadows across my living room. Karen's cease and desist letter, a flimsy bluff from her cousin's law firm, lies crumpled on the coffee table. My response to the HOA already shaking her grip on the neighborhood. Mike's latest DM. She's freaking out. You really got under her skin sits unanswered proof of their unraveling marriage. But tonight, I'm done playing defense. Karen's lies, her vandalism, her victim act, her HOA manipulations have poisoned this cul-de-sac long enough. I'm about to expose her to the entire neighborhood, and this public shaming will seal her social ruin. My heart pounds as I log into the neighborhood Facebook group, the cursor blinking like a heartbeat. The group's been a battleground since my first dog poop post with Karen's allies dwindling after my camera footage of her spray painting loser on my fence went viral at the HOA meeting. But she's still posting spinning tales of harassment and unfair fines, and a few neighbors are eating it up, calling for peace. I'm sick of her lies, her fake tears, the way she twists every truth to paint me as the villain. I've got the evidence to end this: camera clips, HOA citations, and Mike's DMs, though I'm holding those for the kill shot. Tonight, I'm going nuclear. I spend an hour crafting the post, my fingers trembling with adrenaline. It's long but meticulous, titled The Truth About 123 Maple Drive. I list her violations: dog waste vandalism, unapproved fencing, backed by photos and HOA documents, all public record. I include a timeline: her red paint on my door, the glitter on her SUV, the block party betrayal, and the spray paint caught on camera. I keep it factual, no insults, but the truth is damning enough. I've tried resolving this privately, I write, but the harassment continues, including a baseless legal threat from her cousin's firm. I attach the cease and desist redacted and a clip of her yelling in my yard, her threats clear. I hit post, my breath shallow, knowing this will either destroy her or blow up in my face. The conflict erupts within minutes. My phone buzzes, nonstop notifications flooding in, neighbors tagging each other, comments piling up. This is unreal. She did what to your door? I knew she was trouble. Karen's response comes fast, a caps-locked screed. This is slander. You're a liar and a stalker. But it's drowned out by the pile-on neighbors posting their own stories. Her dog barking at 3 a.m. Her rude HOA complaints, her tantrums at community events. Linda, the HOA president, comments, "These issues are under review. Please keep this civil." It's a warning, but it's aimed at Karen, and I feel the tide turning. By morning, the post has 200 reactions, and Karen's deleted her comment, but screenshots are circulating. I'm on my porch, sipping coffee, when her SUV peels out her face, hidden behind sunglasses. She doesn't look at me, but the defeat in her hunched shoulders is electric. I expect retaliation, another HOA complaint, maybe more paint, but the day's quiet, the calm before the storm. I check my cameras, my new habit, and find nothing but a stray cat crossing her lawn. Mike's silent, no new DMs, and I wonder if he's finally done with her chaos. The climactic action unfolds that afternoon at an impromptu neighborhood gathering organized by Linda in the community center to address tensions. I'm there, my laptop ready, my nerves raw, but my resolve ironclad. The room's packed, 40 neighbors crammed into folding chairs, the air thick with whispers and coffee fumes. Karen's in the front, her makeup caked, her hands clenched. Linda opens urging calm dialogue, but Karen jumps up, her voice shaking. "She's ruined my life," she cries, pointing at me. Her lies, her cameras, she's obsessed. A few nod, but most look skeptical, their phones buzzing with my post's screenshots. I stand, my voice steady despite the adrenaline. "I'm not the one lying," I say, connecting my laptop to the projector. I play a montage, her dog at my fence, her spray painting her threats in my yard. The room gasps, murmurs rising. "This isn't obsession," I say. "It's evidence." Karen screams, "You manipulated that," but her voice cracks and Linda cuts her off. "Sit down," Linda says, her tone final. The neighbors erupt, some shouting at Karen, others at me, but the truth's out, and it's crushing her. She storms out, tears streaming, Mike trailing her, his face grim. The blowback hits hard. Back home, my inbox fills with messages. Some neighbors thank me, others call me vindictive. The Facebook group's a war zone, with Karen's few allies accusing me of bullying, but they're outnumbered. My phone pings with a DM from Mike. She's leaving town for a bit. "You won." My stomach twists. He's not my friend, but his words confirm it. Karen's broken her social empire in ruins. I don't reply, but I save it my final piece of leverage. This moment changes everything. I've exposed Karen's lies, stripped her of her neighborhood throne, and turned her own tactics against her. But as I sit in my dark house, the rain tapping my windows, I feel the cost, sleepless nights, constant vigilance, the neighbors' divided stares. Karen's gone for now, but she's not defeated, and Mike's DM hints at a temporary retreat, not surrender. I've sealed her social ruin, but the war's not over. Remember when her legal threat scared me? That was nothing compared to the final showdown she's planning. The twilight sky is bruised with clouds, the cul-de-sac quiet, except for the distant bark of a dog. A sound that still makes my skin crawl after Karen's reign of terror. My Facebook post, a brutal expose of her lies, vandalism, dog poop, fake legal threats, has left her socially radioactive, her SUV gone for days. Mike's DM confirming she's leaving town for a bit. But I'm not naive. Karen's not the type to slink away defeated. She's been plotting, and tonight as I sit on my porch, the air thick with impending rain, I feel it, a storm's coming, and it's her. Our final clash is here, and it's going to be explosive, but I'm ready to end this war with her defeat and my triumph. My cameras are on, their red lights blinking like sentinels, and my phone's charged. Mike's DMs saved a loaded gun I haven't fired. The neighborhood's still buzzing from my post, the community center showdown, where Karen's tears and lies crumbled under my evidence. But the silence from her house dark windows, no music, no yelling, feels like the calm before a hurricane. I'm sipping tea, the mug warm in my hands, when her SUV roars into the driveway, tires screeching. My heart leaps, adrenaline spiking. She's back and the war's not over. The conflict ignites as Karen storms across her lawn, her hair wild, her face twisted with rage. She's clutching a megaphone, absurd, unhinged, and before I can process it, her voice blares, shattering the evening calm. "You think you've won?" she screams, the megaphone crackling. "You're a liar, a loser, and everyone hates you." Neighbors' lights flick on faces at windows, and I'm on my feet, my tea spilling. She's not just attacking, she's performing, trying to reclaim her throne with a public tantrum. "I'm suing you!" she bellows. "My lawyer's real this time, and you're done!" My blood boils. The old wounds, her bitter and alone taunt, her block party betrayal flaring. But I'm not that woman anymore. I grab my phone, hit record, and step off the porch, the grass wet under my sneakers. "Keep talking, Karen," I shout, my voice steady, loud enough for the gathering neighbors. My cameras are rolling, and your cousin's fake lawyer didn't scare me. Try again? Her eyes widen, the megaphone dipping, and I see it panic. She's banking on intimidation, but the crowd's not hers anymore. Faces I recognize from the HOA meeting the Facebook group are watching, whispering, and they're not on her side. She doubles down, her voice shrill through the megaphone. You posted lies! You faked those videos! You're obsessed with me! But her words are desperate, and I spot Mike in their doorway, his face pale, not moving to help her. His DMs. You won, echo in my mind, and I decide it's time. I hold up my phone, the screen glowing, and say, obsessed. Then why's your husband messaging me saying you're out of control? The crowd gasps, murmurs rising, and Karen's megaphone drops, her face crumpling. You're lying. She chokes, but Mike steps forward, his voice low. She's not Karen. Stop this. The betrayal in his words is a sledgehammer, and she staggers, her empire collapsing. The climactic action unfolds as Linda, the HOA president, appears, drawn by the noise. Enough, she snaps, her blazer crisp despite the hour. Karen, you're disturbing the peace. I've got your fines, your violations, and now this. One more stunt and we're escalating to the board for eviction proceedings. The crowd murmurs, shocked, and Karen's eyes dart wild, searching for allies, but finding none. I keep recording, my hand steady, capturing her defeat, her megaphone on the grass, her husband's silence, the neighbor's stares. Linda turns to me, her voice softer. You've made your point. Let's end this. I nod, lowering my phone, but my eyes stay on Karen, who's sobbing, her facade shattered. The blowback is immediate. Karen stumbles back to her house, Mike following, their door slamming. Neighbors linger, some approaching me with quiet thank yous, others avoiding my gaze. My phone pings Facebook notifications, the video already spreading, sealing Karen's fate. But as I return to my porch, the adrenaline fades and exhaustion hits. I've won, but the cost: sleepless nights, constant fear, a divided neighborhood weighs heavy. Mike's final DM arrives. We're moving. You're free. I don't reply, but relief washes over me, tempered by the scars of this war. This moment is my triumph. Karen's final stand, her megaphone stunt, was her last gasp, and I turned it against her, exposing her lies and breaking her hold on the neighborhood. The power's mine, now, not just over her, but over my own fear. But as I sit in my quiet house, rain tapping the roof, I know freedom came at a price. She's defeated, but the echoes of her venom linger, a reminder of what I've survived. Remember when she called me bitter and alone? That was nothing compared to the strength I've found to end this. The rain has stopped, leaving the air clean, the cul-de-sac silent for the first time in months. I'm on my porch swing, the creak of the chains, a soft rhythm, my tea gone cold. Karen's gone. Her SUV packed her house, listed her reign of terror over. But the weight of this war, the sleepless nights, the rage, the fear, it lingers in my bones. I think of her first taunt. You're just bitter because you're alone, and how it cut me open, exposing wounds I thought I'd buried. I wasn't just fighting her. I was fighting to prove I'm more than her cruel words, more than my divorce, my doubts, my solitude. Standing up to Karen wasn't just about winning, it was about reclaiming my dignity, my right to live in peace. Every camera clip, every Facebook post, every HOA meeting was a step toward that. I'm proud of my strength, but I'm tired too, the kind of tired that settles deep. If you're dealing with someone toxic next door, please believe me, you're not crazy, and you're not alone. You don't have to fight like I did, but you deserve to be heard, to be safe. This neighborhood's quieter now, and so am I, carrying the scars, but standing taller for it.